Hey guys, and welcome to a game between two Barbarian AIs. So I figured, this is one of the best AIs, or actually it is absolutely the best AI, and there's been a lot of changes in UserPatch 1.5 that enable AIs to be even better. I know that TheMax actually is working on improvements to this one, and has a private version that has some improvements on it that's not yet released, but this one right now is really, really good for AIs. So I put it on hard difficulty, which is the only difficulty where there are no either benefits or hidden nerfs to the AI. And we're just going to play a 1v1 between two barbarians. This will be a Huns war, and we can see right off the bat, nice 6 on sheep, then going to build a... Oh, no, not building a lumber camp, actually building a mill. It's a bit of a deviation from the standard build order. Now, sometimes AIs, they do have to do weird things, but this one is in fact going to a few on sheep and then, or 6 on sheep, then build a lumber camp. Looks like it's chopping some straggler trees at the start. But yeah, Barbarian AIs can do lots of interesting things. Like they can drush, they can micro their armies, they can lure boar, push deer, they can trush and wall in their towers. And one of the most impressive things is like on Deathmatch, I saw a Mongols Barbarian, it would build and then immediately delete the houses, because in post-imp they automatically have that technology where they get the where houses don't lose pop space when they're deleted. So it would just delete the houses to get the extra pop space and then have the room to build buildings. But here we are, nice, very successful boar lure. Kind of moving the sheep under the TC as it was luring it in. I don't know if that was intentional to block the boar or not, but gets the boar pretty good position, not as far under the TC as you might like. But over here we see the other AI very successfully shooting the boar twice and bringing it directly under the TC, shooting it with the other villagers, garrisoning the Vale so it doesn't take any damage, and killing the boar. And now this one's going for a lumber camp. But oh, the scout's trying to pick off the villager that doesn't have loom. Will it be successful? It will. Oh, good job by the scout there. Sorry, weak villager found, return to scouting. Good job picking off the villager without loom. AI did not react to bring that villager back to the town center like he should have, but a nice quick start to the game by our blue player here, as red is now starting to push in some deer. And it's always nice to see the scouts push in deer. I think in previous versions it might have just been possible for the scout to go directly to the tile behind the deer, but now I think there's a bit more precise control to keep it more close behind the deer. There we go. Like, oh, bit of a doubt lure there because the villagers got in the way. That might be something to look to improve. See if you can detect villager positions and then change the deer lure based on that. It gets it very nice directly under the town center. That's much better than I could do with the deer. And then it looks like the other AI also will be pushing in some deer as well. And that one not quite under the TC, but he's pushing in another one. And see, how close does the deer have to be? Oh, just going to shoot it when it's right there. Alright, so it looks like we have a fairly standard build from our blue player at Lumber Camp. 4 on berries, second Lumber Camp going up right now as it's pushing in some deer. And there's a variety of strategies that these AIs can go for. It could drush, it could go for men-at-arms, it could go straight into archers, or it could, of course, go scouts. I think a lot of AIs, especially probably brute force AI is only the really good AI on the Steam Workshop, but they're known for either spamming skirmishers, and I think even some of the UserPatch AIs like Promi do that too. But like a straight archer rush tends to be a very effective strategy versus AI, so they go for skirmishers. But Barbarian, he's a special one that he can do pretty much anything he wants. And I know that the logic for drushing is still being worked on a lot by TheMax. But other than that, we see probably going for scouts as it's pushing in, or putting up this barracks right now as it finishes pushing in the deer. And on the other side, we're seeing a different build order, which is nice. Let's see 2 different builds. We see this one putting down a mining camp, so we'll probably be going, no barracks yet, so probably straight for archers. So a bit slow, 25 population, and just now putting down its barracks, whereas this one went for, it's like a 23 population scouts. So a bit slower than a human player, and also it completely stopped taking the berries to take the deer, which is probably not something you really would want to see. But barracks is up, and it will immediately start putting down a stable. So we will see scouts. And we'll get to see some of the micro and how Barbarian micros the scouts. And an archery range going down at the same time. Yeah, so this is something you definitely would not see from a human player. You generally, if you're going scouts, you don't want to put the range down that quickly because you want to use the wood for farms. And if you put the range down that quickly, you're not going to have the wood for both farms and to train stuff from that archery range at the same time. So the archery range or your farm production ends up going idle. And then if you don't have farms, then you can't produce scouts and villagers. But it looks like Barbarian is going to send all of its villagers over to the berries, which generally you wouldn't see that either. You need, generally you probably, if you have excess villagers not on farms, probably chop straggler trees just so that you have wood to add more farms. And let's see, Barbarian not using these scouts yet, and not actually training anything from the archery range yet. So maybe a bit wasteful building that range so early, because it could have added more farms before that. But now Barbarian's going to try to fight that scout, gets a couple good hits on it. And ooh, we'll actually do a lot of damage to that scout before it starts moving out. And oh, kills the scout before it even starts moving out with its own scouts. Meanwhile, the orange player has 2 villagers on gold, and it has scouted the scouts, so it is creating spearmen over here to defend from the scouts. And now that it lost its scout, it's going to use one of these spearmen to do its scouting. But we see spearmen on the wood, on the berries, and on the gold. So protecting all the key resources from the scouts as it's starting to queue up some archers and continues adding more farms around the town center. And now the scouts will try to take a fight against the scouting spearmen. Unfortunately, I don't think the scouting units are as able to be controlled as other units are. But now we'll see some skirmishers being added in from blue. So we'll see scouts and skirmishers, which, in 1v1s, that can always be a very powerful combination. And another spearman being sent out to scout. And now we'll get to see some scout micro. It sees the villagers, it sees the spears, and it's going to focus down the spearmen and then move on over to attack the villagers. Villagers have to retreat, but then some more spearmen come over along with the archers, and the scouts run away from that army. And this is just the scouting scout, so it might just, goof off a bit. But the other scouts being microed very nicely in this group, and now they're heading over to try to do some harassment on the wood line. And can they pick a villager? It was kind of uphill, and a spearman is coming over and fighting with villagers. So it had to make the decision, does it run back to the TC or fight with villagers? And it fought with villagers there, and managed to kill 2 of the scouts without taking a villager loss. So pretty good micro there, even from red. We see spears retreat being in the chat. That's one of the debug commands. But now we have even more scouts and some skirmishers. So no gold yet from this barbarian because it was focusing on scouts and skirmishers. Perhaps one reason to make the archery range that early might be if you're making farms, you might not have the wood for it. But considering they make the blacksmith, it's probably not what's going on. But anyway, we see this large army just kind of building up, not moving out to attack yet. As red's dealing with some wolves. Attacking the wolves with multiple villagers, not letting it die. And oh, look at this. Building a defensive tower on its wood line. Barbarian knows this wood area might be attacked, so it's putting a tower there. It's interesting. And looks like it'll be a pretty good tower as the scouts... Oh, they turn. They're not heading for the wood line, coming over here. But now a couple of spearmen here for red, but not enough to kill the scouts right away. We'll lose some damage. But now more spearmen are coming over, and now the scouts are going to be in trouble, as blue not quite engaging with its army all at the same time. Needed the skirmishers there to kill the spearmen, and its scouts will be cleaned up. But now all the spearmen will die, as red does not actually have any units capable of killing skirmishers, just archers and spearmen at this point. Looks like it's now adding a couple of skirmishers in. But now red is completely off of gold and kind of, killed those scouts, but did abandon these farms to go over to wood. Maybe the AI is thinking it wants to make archers, so it needs more wood, but probably not too good to lose all those farms. As now another scouting spearman being lost. I don't quite like how forward these farms are around that mill. Generally, I think you probably want maybe another mill in the back to build farms around. It has kind of double layered them around the TC, which is nice though. Ooh, now we see Barbarian trying to sneak a small group of archers into the opponent wood line, but it's not going to get there. Oh, that was nice. Sometimes it'll do that. It'll make those small groups of units try to sneak them in. Now, if blue were forward and attacking there, these archers would have done a ton of damage, but fortunately for blue, it was back there at the right time, keeping its army in a good position to defend. And now it looks like some sheep weren't taken. I guess maybe blue didn't find its sheep, and now red did. Probably were over here somewhere, and the archers found them. Ooh, now scale barding armor coming in on the scouts, so they'll get +1, as the skirmishers already have +1/+1 for their attack and defense. And now these farms in the middle, again, the scouts going forward and attacking without the skirmishers behind them. So the spearmen will be able to pick off a couple of them before they can do too much damage, and these scouts are losing a bit of HP. Villagers still pretty close at this moment, as the spearmen are coming forward to kill the scouts, but I just don't think Barbarian has the red Barbarian doesn't have the unit composition to deal with the skirmishers. As look at that micro, it hits the spearmen and then runs away, and now it's going to try to do some sidestep micro, focusing down the archers. Oh, that is so nice. You can see it's not even trying to kill the skirmishers, it's focusing the archers. Don't know why this Barbarian isn't microing, but now that one's going to retreat. And we see some combat mode, march mode changes in the debug chat over here. But now these farms, this gold's completely vulnerable. And the skirmish is just gonna run in and do some fancy micro to pick off some archers, pick off some villagers, and more scouts are being added in by the blue player. And blue doing a lot of damage. We see red even making another lumber camp towards the back. But now red, again, we see that mill with the forward farms being pretty vulnerable. Generally, you don't want those farms at the front of your base. But now villagers being forced off of the gold, and if you look at the score difference, red is taking a huge score lead due to the massive military advantage it has. I mean, oh, look at that, it's even towering. It's going for a forward tower, going to attack that lumber camp in these farms. Now, not the best tower, considering with your skirmishers you already control this part of the map, but still, forward tower is always nice to see that AIs actually, they know how to trush. And now more scouts coming in from blue, just going full in on this feudal age attack, and then clicking up to the castle age. Red's had all this idle time, won't be able to click up anytime soon. But now skirmishers continuing to pick off villagers, as it's saying, run, do not stand underneath the town center. Knows where the town center is and knows not to stand underneath it. And that forward tower, and oh, yes, Barbarian does this. It walls in its towers so they can't just be rushed down by villagers. That's beautiful. Oh, it's going for the complete wall, not just the 4 tiles of wall, but actually the complete wall all the way around the tower. And it looks like red is being taken out of the game pretty quickly at this point. Yeah, that's such a nice job of microing the skirmishers, running them towards the villagers so the vills can't run away. And now using the scouts to kill that villager. I would love to see a scout try to block the villager, because it can block boar if they get stolen. Now there's another villager going down. Some more going down. And blue is taking a commanding position in this game. Even now adding in some archers to complement the skirmishers, and red's vills are just going down. Red, I don't think red has the resources to... Yeah, no resources for red to continue adding in units. Oh no. I even had to go for the market. So it knows that it wasn't in a good position, so it added in a market in the back, and now a bunch of spearmen trying to fight skirmishers, so that's not going to work. I guess without gold, spearmen were the only thing it could make. But I don't know if it did that on purpose, but it's microing through the little gap, making it harder for the spearmen to follow. That's nice. Now kind of trapping itself a bit in the corner, but look at that micro, just shoots at the spears and runs away. And now the light cav upgrade coming in, because Barbarian knew that it had a lot of scouts left over, so went for the light cav upgrade. And I would actually expect red to be resigning any moment now. Oh god, look at those walls around that tower. That's so nice. And now a few more villagers from red being picked off. Red down to under 30 population, only 26 villagers left. And now's the point of the game where the resign rules need to start kicking in so that red can say GG. Oh, and there you go. Red even says GG before it resigns. And there you go, yeah. So, lots of little advanced things that are now possible with unit micro. now that UserPatch 1.5 is available. And the great thing about this AI is that TheMax is still working on it, and it's going to get even better. I know he's kind of focusing on ECL stuff at the moment, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. And I, for one, cannot wait to see this AI improve. So let's look at the achievements again. Blue player pretty much dominating that game. Red could have been a bit different if Red's sneaky archers had made it into that wood line, but yeah, just way too much idle time on the economy for Red. And Blue, 23 pop scouts. It's a pretty good time for 23 pop scouts. I mean, we'd love to see that 10:05 feudal time for 22 pop scouts, but I don't quite know if we've gotten to that point yet. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed that. It was nice. Figured I'd do a quick look at the Barbarian AI. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.